Hi everybody, it's Jeremy, back over at the Sports Park, Charlotte Sports Park. We are doing another pallet project today. It's a little bit different from the last one. Just a little history of the pallet and the fork truck actually. For those who don't know, the fork truck was actually built in 1915. The pallet came after that in around 1920, between the 20s and 30s. And it was actually patented by a man named Howard T. Halliwell, but he didn't actually receive the patent until after the war that took place. So that's just a little tidbit on that. I went ahead and pre-cut some of the stuff. Obviously, you don't want to watch me tear apart a pallet. It'd be like 3 hours long. Those are horrible. They use ring-shaped nails. That's to hold them together and the nails don't back out. So some of the things we're going to need, because we're going to be building a coat rack and coat and key rack rather. So I've got some coat hooks, which are twisted fence wire, and then I've just got some regular their house coat hooks or key hooks, either way. Pretty simple. Got a few cuts to make. And I believe that's it. So we can get started. Just make sure if you do this at home, you have your safety glasses, all your safety protection you need. I'm going to be using the finish nailer. You can use screws. You don't have to build it exactly like I'm building it. Or you can call me and I'll do it for you. So we'll get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay it out. I just got enough room here on the table to do that. Because, as you probably know, pallet boards aren't perfect. So to get one square is a task in itself. So I've got 5 total boards, all cut to the same length, but I'm going to end up cutting 2 a little bit shorter. And what I'll do is when I make this cut, I'll use that as my template for spacing here, and then I'll use either the speed square or the T square to add these pieces. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to lay this out, and this piece of plywood, believe it or not, is square, so I can use that square edge to keep everything straight like that. And once I make my cut here, I'm going to put my spacing between each board as if all 5 were laying down. So, like so. Okay, and then I'll pop that one out, and then I'll remove this one. So that's the actual spacing we're going to want. So I'm going to need the distance from here to here to make this cut. So 17.5 inches for that one. And then if you notice, this board's got like a notch out of it, probably was clipped by the fork truck, before on the truck rather. I'm actually going to use that because I can move it around to where some of it's exposed, gives it that rough, rustic look. Either way, or I can turn it over. The difference is turning it over, this is actually the plain side. So this is the rip side, so the rough, and then the opposite side is where it runs through the planer to get all these boards somewhat close to the same thickness. So when you put stuff on your pallet, it's not lopsided. So, but I'm going to use the rough side because I kind of like that look. I like the nail holes, I like the little rust marks on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this at 17.5 inches, make a cut, and then I'm going to use my cut piece for my spacing because it will move. I'm going to get one or the other. I'm either not going to have the nail holes or I'm going to have the notch. I'm going to go with the notch. Get that marked. Make sure you put your safety glasses on, earplugs. And make sure you cut on the right side of the line. spacer, which will just be garbage. We won't need it after that. That's going to be like that. And then we're going to cut this one the same. So this one's got a saw cut in it, so we can get that out of there. So I'm going to get rid of that piece. It's over here. This board. And that piece is trash. Here we have both our boards. Now, because we're going to show the rough side, I'm going to flip these over. Like so. There's spacer in here. Just starting out, you just got to get it close. Perfect. Again, we can actually use this one. This little pallet board is not going to never be perfect. If we were building a house, it'd be different. These are actually going to go on the back side, so you won't see them from the, excuse me, the front side. Slide that down just a little bit. Make sure you have them right. And then I'm just going to measure off that sheet of plywood. And go 2 inches down from the top of this to the top of your backboard. Okay. Same on this side. Bring this one in. Double check this side. And that one's actually good to go. So just throw some marks on here, just in case it decides to slide. Grab my nailer. Make sure you wear safety glasses when using this. I'll always shoot these in at an angle. I'm using 1.5 inches finish nail. So it's plenty, and we won't shoot through it. I have the depth set on this, but I always do them at an angle. That actually helps tie everything together. So those are all in different angles, so that'll help keep everything where it needs to be. And we're going to do the same on this end. There you have that piece. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add, we're going to install our hooks. And there's a couple different ways that this can be done. You can either pre-drill this before adding the hook on the left and the right side. One in the middle is not necessary. One on the left and right to anchor it to the wall, or you can do what I'm going to use today is a typical pitcher hook, one on each side, or you can do the rope, the twine with the brown. brown twine for like bells of hay. So, but that's your choice. The rope actually gives it a little more rustic look, I guess. So what I'm going to do is, that's kind of where I want them. I'm just going to make me a couple marks here to make sure I keep them all in line. So you want the bottom of your hook, if you use this style, just about even with the bottom of this board. That keeps this pretty well flush with the top of this board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my T-square on there. Just make me a couple little marks on each board. And then we can install these. As long as you can see your line. And actually those hooks I bought at Home Depot. They have all the different assortments of hooks. So you can pick whatever style you want. I just need a Phillips drive. Whatever you do when you get these, if you buy these, you want to use a number 2. That's actually a number 1. Use a number 2. Because a number 1 will slip. These are really soft. It'll slip and strip it out. If you break one, break it. So we'll get this position where we want it on our line. There's four per hook, so you don't have to like torque them down. Trust me, it's going to hold your shoes, your coat, your britches. And everybody else's stuff. Okay, so I think my coffee's starting to wear off a little bit. If I could call and get a delivery of coffee from somebody. Now, same situation. I still got some screws to add in, just to add there, but I wanted to kind of keep moving on this, and then I'll go back and add them. So these hooks I'm actually going to place in the middle of the backboard. So something like that. But I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to make me a couple little marks. Actually, I'm going to put it at the top so it's easier to see. So now we know that hook is going to go sit at the top of the mark. I'm going to screw that down. Alright, so like that. Take your screws, not the rest of them. Same thing, you don't have to torque them until they snap. You're only hanging keys off of it. Unless you just have plenty of screws of them. coat somewhere here in South Florida. I don't know where that's at, but I guess I could hang my t-shirt on. My hat. Oh wait, I don't wear a hat. Put my keys on it. There's plenty of those. These are actually pre-drilled, similar to the last video. I don't know if you watched it or not. So I pre-drilled these. They're already drilled, but actually I drilled them larger. Because when you buy these, they actually supply you with nails about that long that don't hold. So you can go ahead and count on your stuff hitting the floor. Because the nail will pull out of the board. You just put one of these on this side and then just measure what you have it and match the other side. So 1.5 inches down. And then you just have to keep in mind when you hang this, because you have 2 hooks, you're going to have to measure off your ceiling or your floor either way to get these the same height. The screws at the same height on the wall. Otherwise, they don't hang like this. So, put this in here. There you have it. It's perfect. Okay, well, looks like Mama Bear showed up. She brought me that much needed coffee. She also brought me a little bag of chips. And she brought an extra one for the photographer here. And she brought a shirt to put on the hanger. Looks like she's pretty pleased with the project. I say if she's happy, we're all happy. Everybody have a good one.